Hello. One of the most common uses the Dowelmax is put to is in making panels. Not so much for the strength of the panels, but to aid with alignment when gluing them up. Here are 4 pieces of timber that I want to make into a single panel for a tabletop. The first thing we need to do is make a check mark where each of the boards meet each other. So that's 6 crosses in all. Next we use shims to configure the Dowelmax so that it fits approximately in the centre of the board. It doesn't have to be exact. And simply line the end of the board up with the end of the Dowelmax and drill our holes. There's number 4. And we use distance gauge, which I've preset already, to give us our distance between the holes. And there we have it, that's the first piece done. Moving on to the second piece, we have the check mark here. So again, just line the end of the work with the end of the Dowelmax block. And drill again. Because we're using positive stops with the distance gauge, the holes must line up. So that's 2 edges drilled. And again, moving on to the next check mark, which is there. Again, line up with the end of the timber. And we just work our way along the piece. Very, very quick, very accurate. And perfect results every time. So that's the first 2 pieces done. I'll now go and do the other 2 to finish off. So far I've been using the distance gauge provided with the Dowelmax to measure the distance between the holes, But all you need, in fact, if you don't want to use a distance gauge, is a simple little stick, and it does exactly the same job. Just insert the locating pin into the last hole, position the stick between the end of the Dowelmax and the pin, and drill your next hole. Locating pin in the hole, last hole, butt the Dowelmax up against it, drill the next hole. Quick as that. Locating pin in the last hole, butt the stick against the locating pin, Dowelmax up against the stick, and drill the next hole. And because you're using positive stops all the time, all of the holes must match up perfectly. And now for the last piece of the top. Again, we've got the check mark here, clearly marked. Simply put the reference plates against the check mark, butt up with the end of the work, and drill in the chosen hole, which in this case is number 4. Insert the pin, butt up the stick, butt up the jig to the stick, and drill again, number 4. And then we simply repeat the process along the board. Pin, stick, butt up the jig, tighten, and drill. And that's it. And all these holes will match perfectly. And they'll not only match along the length, but also in the distance from the top. So they're all exactly the same distance from the top of the board. Now for the glow up. As I mentioned, the primary purpose of the dowels is for alignment rather than strength, so I'm not too concerned about getting much glue in the actual dowel holes themselves. And there we have it, the board's buttered up together. Now for final clamping. Now the boards are in the clamps, and you'll see that any tendency to move is stopped by the fact that the dowels are in place. And there we have it, perfectly flat top, absolutely no tendency to lift anywhere. So, to summarise, you don't need dowels, biscuits or anything else to join timber together, but it does help, particularly on larger boards. It will stop them lifting and stop them sliding about. But as far as strength is concerned, the glue itself is sufficient. And it's all done using the great Dowelmax jig. Thanks for watching.